Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live class. You finally have me this morning. I'm so sorry about Friday. My internet had gone down and it didn't come back up till 5 to 7 when I'd already kind of written the class off that it wasn't going to happen. So it would have been a rush for me to get everything ready so close to the time that we were meant to start. And it did go down again this morning, and I had a little bit of a panic a moment ago when my partner said the internet's down again. But we seem to be okay. The internet seems to have come back on, and we're good. Hopefully it stays on and we don't have any problems. I think there's a problem with my modem. I'm going to have to contact Virgin Media because we don't like it when this kind of thing happens and interrupts our timetable. So as always, welcome. I hope you're all well and you're enjoying the lockdown as best as you can, enjoying your Sunday so far. And as always, we're going to start the class. Well, I'm not going to start the class. The class is going to be a nice, gentle, stretchy class to wake you up this Sunday with nothing too crazy, nothing too strenuous. Just to stretch out any tight areas, any sore muscles that you have. So we're going to come to our mats and we're going to start in child's pose this morning, nice and easy. So just bring in the knees together, or you can have the knees wide, whatever feels nice for you. And bring in the forehead to the mat. You can be in extended child's pose with arms forward or arms back. And we'll just take a moment, as always, to get settled in to this practice. And firstly, just noticing how your body feels this morning. Notice the emotional body, how that feels. And if you're watching this live, for me it's raining outside, so rain can affect how we feel. Pressure differences can affect how we feel. So sometimes you can blame the weather for how you're feeling emotionally. Everyone's a lot happier on a sunny day with high pressure. And when there's low pressure, when there's rain, people tend to feel a little bit more tired, a little bit more down. That's where we get the term under the weather. And again, just noticing that sometimes there's things outside of our control that affect how we're feeling. We have to understand this and just learn to be in the moment with how we're feeling and knowing it's not going to last. So just drawing your awareness to the breath now. And just start to take some deeper inhales. And breathe in into the upper back. Breathe in between the shoulder blades. And if you have your hands towards your feet, we're going to bring those hands forward now. I'm going to come into a little side stretch. So take an inhale. And as you exhale, walk your hands over to the left. And as you walk your hands over to the left, just send the hips to the right slightly. Just feeling a nice release to the right side of the body. Again, the neck stays soft, the head is hanging. And drawing your hands back through center on your inhale. And as you exhale, walking them over to the other side. And again, the hips fall out to the left slightly. Just taking some deep breaths into the left side of the body. And we'll inhale, walk the hands back to center. And exhale, coming into a tabletop position. So we're getting those knees underneath the hips. The fingers spread. And let's just start to take some movements here, a little rocking forwards and backwards, just working into the wrists. Nothing too crazy. I'm not trying to find your full range right now. Just starting to wake up the wrists. And maybe do some figure of eights around the hands. And let's come back to the center. So the shoulders, as always, are over the wrists. A little wrap to the triceps. And elbows nice and strong, arms nice and strong here. I'm going to start with some cat-cows just to start to lubricate the spine. So as we inhale, we're going to drop the navel, lift the tailbone, send the heart forward, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, tucking the tailbone under, rounding through the lower back, the mid back, the upper back, chin comes to the chest. And repeat. Inhale to drop the belly, send the heart forward. And exhale to round through the spine. We'll do 3 more rounds of these cat-cows in your own time. And trying to take it to the rhythm of your own breath. Nice and slow, nice and aware of how the body feels. Maybe you're feeling tight in the body this morning. Maybe the shoulders feel tight. Maybe the abdominals are feeling tight. And after your next exhale, coming back to a neutral spine. So drawing the navel in. And we're going to do a little bit more side stretching. So try to think about bringing left shoulder towards left hip. Inhale through center. And exhale, right shoulder towards the right hip. Maybe looking back towards that right foot. Inhale through center. Exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale. Let's do 2 more each side. Get nice and controlled. Total awareness. Bring the focus inside your body. Last one to the right side. Inhale, coming back through center. Now's your option to get creative. So I want you to move however feels nice in your body. So just explore your areas of tension. So you may be moving between cat-cows, you may be moving between those side stretches again. You may want to come back onto the heels, move forward into a little cow pose. Again, whatever feels nice in your body. Just explore. Maybe you're going to sway those hips side to side. And just keep the breath nice and controlled. And it's good to do this kind of thing so you realize that in yoga there is no right or wrong. There is creativity in every single posture. There's always your opportunity to find what your body needs on any particular day and move there. And when you're ready, coming back to neutral. So let's work into the core a little bit here. Let's tuck the tailbone under, find that core strength. So the navel is in, pulling the lower ribs in. So a little bit of protraction through the shoulder blades, but keep the collarbones forward, so nice and wide across those collarbones. And let's step that right foot back. And a little bit of a stretch to that right leg. Pulsing back through that right heel. Just stretching into the bottom of the foot as well here at the same time. And let's lift the right foot off the mat. As you lift it up, as always, we're going to keep that right hip dropping down and pressing back through that right heel. At the same time, you're going to be mindful that you don't start to dip into the lower back. Keep the core on. Keep the work in the core. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to bring that right knee high, bring it around the side, and see if you can touch your right elbow, your right upper arm, and then send it back. Take an inhale to send it back. Exhale to bring it round. Maybe you touch the elbow, maybe you don't. It's all good. Inhale to take it back. Exhale to bring it round. Let's hold it on the elbow, or as close to the elbow as you can get it. Maybe you can get to the upper arm, the shoulder. We'll hold 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. Inhale, send that foot back. And exhale, bring the knee back onto the mat. Let's sit back on the heels. Shake out the wrists. Good. Come back onto the hands. And we'll do the same on the other side. So again, before you extend that leg back, I want you to think about your core. Tucking the tailbone under, draw the navel in. So you've got that nice flat back rather than a dip in that lower back. And send that left foot back now. A little pulse through that left heel. Hopefully the arms are waking up a little bit as well here. And lifting that left foot up. And again, that left hip is dropping down. We're pressing back through that left heel. And it doesn't have to be lifted so much. Maybe you're just lifting the foot up slightly is all good. Just starting to wake up the core, the back, and the leg. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bring that left knee high, bring it around. See if you can tap the arm, tap the elbow. And inhale, send it back. Exhale, bring it round. Again, maybe it makes it to the arm, maybe it doesn't, it's all good. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, bring it round. And we're going to hold, keep equal weight in the hands. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. Inhale, send it back. And exhale, knee comes back to the mat. Let's bring the big toes to touch. We'll send the knees wide this time. Sit back on the heels and take a wide-legged child's pose. Walking those hands forward. Maybe coming onto the fingertips. Get a little bit more at the shoulders. And lifting the gaze, coming back to that tabletop position. Again, knees underneath the hips. Let's walk that left hand forward. Now we're going to bring the right arm underneath the left. A little shoulder stretch. So bringing the right shoulder onto the mat, the right ear. Pressing the back of the hand into the mat as you take a nice stretch through the back. And bringing that right hand back in. And switching, right hand moves forward. Left hand comes underneath that right arm, threading the needle. Left shoulder drops, left ear drops. Reach in through that right hand. Twist in through the body. And bringing that left arm through. We're going to send that left hand forward, so right to the top of the mat. And we're going to make our way into puppy. And if it's too intense with the shoulders, you can just drop those hips back and come into a little bit more of a child's pose. Otherwise, keep the hips over the knees and just dropping the forehead down. Again, your option to explore in this posture. So at the minute, I'm just moving my hips from side to side, finding that feels nice in my side body. You can pulse chest up and down if that feels nice. Or you can find total stillness. Just check that the triceps aren't starting to splay out, the elbows aren't splaying out. Pull the triceps under, pull the armpits towards each other. And going back onto the hands, bring them forward, back into that tabletop position. Let's tuck toes under. We'll send hips back and up and find our first downward facing dog. So as always, your chance to pedal the legs in your downward dog. And again, just explore how your body feels. Now remember, the feet are hips width apart, always, always in your downward dog, unless told otherwise by your teacher. And we want a nice long spine in our downward dog. We want the arms by the ears. So if that's not the case, bend the knees. It's better to have knees bent and a flat spine than legs straight and a rounded upper back. I want you to find that energy as it runs through the spine. The hands are pressing the mat away. And the energy is shooting out through the tailbone. And let's walk the hands towards the feet. And we'll find a nice, easy forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Take hold of opposite elbows. Find your ragdoll. Nice, easy ragdoll. And again, you can find stillness here. You can start to bend through the knees if that feels nice. You can sway side to side with straight legs, or a combination of both, bending through the knees and swaying. Maybe you want to start turning the head side to side, opening through the neck, whatever feels nice. And let's release the arms. Allow the arms to be nice and floppy like your ragdoll. And we're going to roll up to standing. Vertebra by vertebra, really focusing in on that spine, on how it feels. And let's roll the shoulders back. Nice big circles through those shoulders. And roll the shoulders forwards. If there's any crunching or clicking in those shoulders, remember it's all good. As long as there's no pain, the body pops and clicks. It's a normal thing. And let's make some circles with that right arm. So taking it back. Nice and big. Allow the body to move. There's a little twist through the body as the arm goes back. And taking the rotation the opposite way. Take that arm forward. Are you still breathing? Are you still in control of the breath here? Opposite arm. We're not going forwards this time. It doesn't matter which direction. Let's do about 5 each side. Get into that shoulder joint and opposite direction. Good. Let's interlace the fingers and let's reach those arms high. So feel your foundations, all 4 corners of the feet connecting with the mat as you reach through those hands, working through the shoulders, trying to pull the arms back beside the ears or behind the ears, finding a little bit more length through the body. Tucking the tailbone under. Can you pull the lower ribs in as you reach up? And releasing the hands, interlace the fingers behind the back now. So just check that those feet are still hips width apart. We're going to draw the shoulder blades together as we send the hands away from the back. Keep the hands in a fist. Little subtly bend as we come in to a forward fold. Soften the neck. And just allow gravity to take the arms overhead. Okay, you can continue to move through the legs if that feels nice. My legs feel so tight this morning, so it feels good to just keep those legs moving. Let's release the hands. Bring the hands back to the mat. And let's walk the hands forward and find our downward facing dog again. Let's send the right leg high. We'll find a 3-legged dog. We're not going to be here long. And the heel shoots high.
Again, we're keeping that right hip closed, so drop the right hip down. You should feel a deeper stretch through the back of that left leg now. And come onto the ball of the left foot. See if you can send that right leg a little bit higher. And then bend that right knee. We're going to bring it through. We're going to try to plant that right foot as close to those hands as you can. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't come all the way up to those hands. Let's drop that left knee down. And we'll find a low lunge. So let's come into a lazy lunge to begin with. So taking the knee, that left knee, as far back as feels comfortable in your body. The right knee stays over the ankle. And the chest is nice and open. Send the hips low. And coming up, let's bring hands onto that right knee. You can interlace fingers if you wish. And just pressing that right knee forward a little bit as we sink those hips a little bit lower. And you should feel a release through the front of that left hip. Maybe you feel something in the front of the right hip as well. And again, maybe you want to add a little bit of movement, a little bit of pulsing up and down. And let's start to extend that right leg. Bring the hands to the mat. If you have blocks, you can bring blocks either side of the body as we come into some half splits. So just stretching the back of that right leg. Option to keep the foot on the mat, the toes pointed. If you've got a little bit more, as always, flex that right ankle. And imagine you're trying to pull that heel back towards you, sending your heart forward. And you're stretching through the back of that right leg. And again, maybe you want to add movement, maybe swaying those hips. Maybe rocking forwards and backwards. Maybe rounding through the spine, extending through the spine. You just explore. And bringing that right foot back onto the mat. Bringing the right knee back over the ankle. We're going to come into a little twist. So let's come up again. Let's send the left arm high. Take a nice big inhale, pull everything in, and exhale. Let's bring that left elbow. See if you can hook it around the outside of that right knee. Then we're going to bring our hands into prayer. As always, when you bring your hands into prayer, for most people, that prayer is going to start off by that right shoulder. We're going to work on bringing those hands back to our heart center by trying to create a little bit more length through the spine. So press the chest forward and then open it up towards the ceiling. And maybe that prayer comes back to your heart center a little bit more. And just work on twisting through the upper back here. So nice deep breaths in between your shoulder blades. Use that breath to create more space, and it will help open into the muscles in the upper back. Keep sinking through the hips. Over here, a few more breaths. If you can't breathe, then think about sending the breath somewhere else. Maybe you're trying to breathe into the lower abdomen. Really difficult to breathe into the lower abdomen in a twist. So think about sending that breath all the way into the shoulders. Think about drawing the navel in. And on your next exhale, releasing the hands back to the mat. And we're going to step that right foot back into that downward facing dog. And just notice the difference between your left and right side now. And then we'll come into the other side. Raise the left leg to the ceiling, finding that three-legged dog. And again, drop that left hip down. Send the energy out through that left heel and press back through that right hip. Feeling a deeper stretch through that right leg. Onto the ball of the right foot. See if you can send that left heel a little bit higher. And then bend that left knee. Control it as you bring that left foot through between the hands. And then maybe it makes it, maybe it doesn't. And drop that right knee to the mat. Top of the foot on the mat. Just stretching through those hips again. So left knee over the left ankle. Okay, maybe a little bit of movement here. Maybe one side feels a little bit different to the other. And let's come up, hands onto that left thigh, and send that knee forward. Sinking the hips low. The shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. I'm trying to find length through the spine. And again, maybe you're pulsing here. Maybe nothing too crazy. Just a little bit of movement to find your attention. And release, hands to the mat or to your blocks, and start to extend through that left leg. And as we come into our half splits, and again, if you're going well, maybe flexing that left ankle. The toes pull back towards the body, the heel pulls back towards you. And again, your chance to add some movement, maybe rocking those hips side to side. You're working through extension and flexion of the spine. I'm just checking those deep breaths are still going. You're still meditating. Hopefully the mind isn't wandering. Hopefully it's staying internalized, staying with the practice. Maybe I've just said this and it's made your mind wander. You realize you stopped thinking about something for a moment and you started thinking about that something. So draw it back to your practice. And bringing that left foot back onto the mat. Left knee comes back over the ankle. And coming back up, coming into that twist. So reach at the right arm high, take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, suck everything in as you come into that twist. And the elbow hooks around that left knee. You can use that left hand on that left thigh to help you get that hook. I always do this as I come into my twist. It helps me get a little bit deeper, drawing the navel in, trying to pull that chest through. And again, maybe you bring your hands into prayer and they're by your left shoulder. Think about pressing the chest forward and then peeling it up. And that will bring your prayer more towards the center line of the body. As you do this, maybe the hips lift. So start to press those hips down again. And again, watch the breath. Nice deep breaths into the upper back. The navel is drawing in. You'll squeeze to that pelvic floor. Maybe the gaze is behind you, maybe it's up, or maybe you're just facing the side. It doesn't really matter, whatever feels nice in the neck. Just keep the neck nice and long. Just check that the head isn't falling, you're not being lazy in that neck. Stay here a couple more breaths. If you can find a little bit more length on your inhales, a little bit more twist on your exhales. And on your next exhale, releasing hands back to the mat. We'll tuck those back toes under and send that left foot back to meet the right. Finding your downward facing dog. And dropping the knees onto the mat. Step back on the heels, but keep the toes tucked under if you can. You may need to have a play around with your toes, depending on how terrible your toe anatomy is. You may find that some toes need to be messed around with so that they're nice and flat on the mat. If you wear tight shoes or wear high heels a lot, maybe your toes need a little bit of love, maybe your feet need a little bit of love. This is just going to be a nice toe stretch. So have a play around with the position of those feet. So bringing the heels towards each other. That doesn't feel good, you can send them a little bit wider. And we're just going to work into the bottoms of those feet. Good stretch. Have a nice big tendon that runs through the bottom of the feet. And sometimes it gets a little bit tight. So it's good to stretch it out when we get the opportunity. Let's take the arms forward just to take a little bit of focus off the feet. We'll wrap the right arm underneath the left to come into some eagle arms. So maybe the hands come together, depending on how tight you are in your shoulders. Maybe we're just able to get them across, crossing each other. It doesn't really matter. If you're going well, you can start to lift the elbows up. Maybe you're lifting the gaze. I'm just going to start to pull the shoulder blades apart here. I'm just working in just some muscles in the upper back. Working through the shoulder joint. And at the same time, those feet are getting a good stretch. And the longer we stay here, maybe those toes start to call out to you. See if you can keep the focus on the breath. The toes aren't going to break. It should just be tension that you feel, not pain. If there's pain, then come out of the posture. If it's tension, just see if you can focus the mind on the breath. We'll stay here a couple more breaths. And release the arms. Keep the feet where they are. Take the arms forward. We're going to come into the other side. The left arm comes underneath the right. Wrapping those arms, finding your eagle arms. In whatever variation feels nice. And lifting those elbows up if you're going well. Maybe dropping the head back. And at this point, maybe those feet are really starting to take your focus. And this is where mind control comes in. The feet aren't going to break. The feet are fine. They're just trying to take your focus, take your attention. Can you keep the focus somewhere else? Can you look around the body? Can you find the breath? Can you keep the breath deep, controlled? Oh, the band is on, the navel in. Can you bring the focus into the shoulders, how the shoulders feel? Maybe it's your entire body. Maybe the shoulders are tight now at the same time. It's working through the tension in the feet and the tightness in the shoulders. Maybe the feet, what's happening in the feet has changed and the stretch has moved into the lower legs a little bit. Maybe you feel it more in the front of those shins. And releasing those arms, bring the hands onto the mat. We'll come off those feet and just make some rotations with those ankles, nice and slowly. I know it's a tough one. Seems so simple. Sometimes you come into it, you're like, oh, I can take this. This is fine. And then the longer you're there, the pose changes a little bit. That's a yin posture. And you work up to hold in that for about 10 minutes. And then lifting the gaze. Going back to our tabletop position. Let's cross those legs over. We'll sit back over the feet. If this is too much, if you can't do this, just swing the legs around, just making our way to seated. And taking the legs forward, just going to come into a simple forward fold. So as always, if you are really tight in the hamstrings, sit on a blanket or a block just to help lift those hips, and it will help get the body to move forward, especially if you're in a bit of posterior pelvic tilt, if that pelvis is tucking under and the weight is shifting backwards. And it's going to be a nice relaxed forward fold. You can do controlled Ashtanga variation of your forward fold if you wish. Just keeping the back straight and moving with the breath, or just go forward as much as the hips allow. Maybe rocking from side to side will just help in that forward motion. And then when you're forward as much as the body allows, then just allow the spine to round, allow the neck to relax, and just stretching the entire back side of the body. So I always say, if the back is rounded, you don't want to be forcing, you don't want to be pulling in this kind of position. You just want to relax completely. If you're working through your forward fold with a little bit of strength, then you keep the back straight. So if you're using a little bit of pull on the feet or on a strap, keep the back straight so the work goes into the back of the legs rather than risking damaging the spine or the back muscles. Just noticing how those legs feel, how the back feels, where you feel this posture. Maybe it's more in the calves, maybe it's more in the hamstrings, maybe it's in the lower back, maybe it's in the shoulders. And let's come up. We'll bring the hands behind us. So our tabletop position, so we're going to work into shoulder extension and also into the front of the hips, into the quadriceps as well. So the hands are about a foot's distance behind us with the fingers facing towards the body. I want you to draw the shoulder blades together. Your variation one is just to stay here, just working the heart forward, and hopefully you're feeling a little bit of release through the front of the chest and into those shoulders. If you're going well here, we're going to take it into the legs a little bit as well. So we're going to bend the knees and bring the feet onto the mat. Those feet are going to be hips width apart. And then your second option is just to start to lift the bum up. And depending on how strong you are in your arms at the moment, then maybe this is enough for you and you're just going to hold it here. If you're going well, start to lift those hips a little bit higher. And again, this is where we start to work into the front of the hips. At the same time, we're working more into that shoulder extension. You can just look to the ceiling if it feels okay in the neck. Keep the chin to the chest if it doesn't feel okay in the neck. And maybe we're rocking forwards and backwards. By rocking forwards and backwards, we're starting to really work into that shoulder extension. Just be really mindful if you're rocking. We don't want to ping anything in the shoulders. And as well, it's working into our wrist flexibility as well. And we'll stay here just a few more breaths if we can. If you're in the full posture, see if you can squeeze the glutes. Squeezing the glutes will help to open into those hips a little bit more. And slowly, slowly, hips come back down to the mat. Let's bring the soles of the feet together and we'll come into our Baddha Konasana. We're just starting to move forward, hands onto the feet. And again, you can make this active, keeping the back straight, working forward with every breath, or you can make it passive. Just allow the spine to round and just allowing the forehead to fall towards the feet.
And again, you can make it active in the legs as well, or passive. Passive, you're just allowing gravity to do the work for you. Active, you're going to engage those glutes. Engaging the glutes is going to encourage those knees down. And maybe you're working with the breath. Inhale to find length. Exhale to press deeper. Just working up those groins, opening up those groins, opening up the inner thighs. Maybe you can feel in the outside of the lower legs. Lift the gaze. And let's release. And straighten the legs. We're going to wide-legged position. So as you come into your wide-legged, nothing too crazy with those feet, just the legs distance between the feet, or as wide as you can get them. If you can't get them to the legs distance apart, this is fine. Just check that the knees are pointing towards the ceiling. So again, where the angle of your legs are is going to tell you a lot about what's going on in your hips. So if the feet are falling out to the side a little bit like this, maybe you have some weak glutes going on, or you could have some tight glutes going on as well here. It's pulling the hips out. If the feet are rolling in, then maybe you have weak glutes, maybe you have tight adductors on the inside of the legs. So where your feet naturally fall will tell you a lot about your hips. In this posture, we're going to really work on keeping the knees towards the ceiling and the feet pointing towards the ceiling. And that way we're going to start to balance out what's happening in the hip area. So firstly, we're going to make sure those glutes are out from underneath the sit bones. So you're nice and grounded through your seat. Again, you can use a cushion, you can use a blanket or a block underneath your hips if you struggle to fold forward. We're going to come into a nice forward fold. So find length through your spine first. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, again, you're folding forward from the hips, but try to keep the back straight. Try to keep the chest open. The way that you can check if you're starting to round through the spine, if you put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and start to fold forward, keeping those hands away from each other. If those hands start to fall towards each other, you know that you're starting to collapse the chest, you know you're starting to round the spine. And you can do this in any kind of forward fold. And as soon as those hands start to move towards each other, that's when you stop and you hold it there. And that will keep the integrity of the upper back. It will stop you creating weakness in the upper back. It will build the strength through the scapula, or the muscles around the scapula. And the option to take the hands forward, option to take the hands to the legs, to the feet. And again, maybe you added a little bit of movement here, rocking from side to side. For me, it really helps to open into my hip joint. I have tight adductors inside of the legs. And I feel this movement really helps. It feels really nice. And let's make our way up. Coming into a little bit of side flexion. Bring the left hand onto the left leg, or you can bring it inside of that leg. Take the right arm up. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, just start to reach out to the side, out towards that left foot. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, just so you can feel that nice stretch through the lumbar, through the side body. And maybe you take the foot, maybe you don't. Okay, it's all good. Maybe some days you want to do something slightly different. Try to keep the chest open. Don't allow the chest to collapse down. You're going to escape the work in the lower back if that happens.
And keep driving that right hip towards the mat. And coming back through center, take an inhale to come back up. And exhale that, taking it to the other side. So right hand on the shin or inside that leg. Inhale, open up. And exhale. Start working into that side flexion. And again, doing whatever feels right for you this morning. Maybe choosing not to take it so deep. That's me this morning. Just working into keep my chest open. I'm working into keeping that left sit bone grounded. Just notice how the hip starts to lift up. We get so focused sometimes on what's happening over here that we forget what's happening down here. Remember wringing out a rag. I say it a lot in the twist. Sometimes you're so focused on the upper body, you forget there's another hand down here. And if that works into squeezing out the water in the rag, then it's better. If this hand is staying still and you're just working here, not as good, not as efficient as both hands working at the same time. So think about that in your body. And don't forget that the entire body works into a posture. Try not to lose focus in one area. And inhale, coming back through center. And exhale. Let's bring those feet together. Let's bend our knees. A little bit of core work, a little bit of a Navasana. So find your balance point. Just lift the feet off the mat. Maybe you're bringing the hands underneath the legs. Maybe you're just keeping the hands on the knees. Maybe you're releasing completely and taking the arms forward. I'm going to stay here just a few breaths. Nothing crazy. You can take full Navasana if you wish. Straighten the legs. If your body is woken up a little bit and you want to do your full Navasana, go ahead. Otherwise, just here will do. Release the feet to the mat. Flex through your spine. So really round. Tuck your tailbone under. And we're going to roll all the way down. Make sure those bandas are on, that you're squeezing everything down here. It's protecting your lower back as you lower down. Let's bring hands onto the mat. Let's bring the feet a little bit closer towards us. So we want the heels underneath the knees. And we'll just do a round of bridge. Shoulder blades come underneath the back. Chest is nice and open. And just check one, the middle finger just touching the back of the heels. For most people, that's a good position for your bridge. And when you're ready, as you inhale, tuck your tailbone and lift the hips up. And just checking those knees are staying over the ankles, that they're not starting to fall out to the side. And just checking that you're squeezing those glutes. So most people have weak glutes. It's important that we try to activate the glutes at any point that we can, anytime we can. Just to work into strengthening those glutes. And that will help us have healthier, happier hips. We'll stay a couple more breaths here if you can. And one more deep breath. See if you can lift the hips higher. Squeeze the glutes a little bit more. And lowering all the way down. Take the arms out to the side. Bring the feet together. Lift the feet up. Knees over the hips. And slowly with control, let's lower the legs over to the left. And drop the head over to the right. And as we take a nice spinal release. And deep breaths. And drawing your head back through center. Inhale. Legs come back through center. Exhale. Lowering those legs with control over to the right. And dropping the head to the left. And just feeling that stretch all the way through the body, through the spine, into that left shoulder, through the chest. Total relaxation. And draw head back through center. Draw knees back through center. Hug the knees in, give yourself a nice squeeze. And releasing the feet to the mat. Take your heels wide. Coming into our final posture now, Shavasana. Take up space with the arms. If you have a jumper or a blanket close to hand, please cover yourself with your blanket, with your jumper. Maybe putting some soxies on. And just keeping the body warm. Maybe if you're still in your pajamas, putting your dressing gown on. And just closing the eyes, just allow everything to soften. The forehead softens, behind the eyes soften, the cheeks soften, the ears, the jaw, the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. And there's space between your back teeth. The body melts into the mat. And here we find total stillness. And a oneness with all life on earth. And as always, your option now to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you feel you need. Otherwise, take in a deep inhale. And exhaling the breath, completely connecting the navel to the spine. Inhale breath into your heart space. Fill your heart space. And exhale the breath into the fingertips and the toes. And start to wiggle the fingers and toes and bring some movement to your body.
Rotating wrists and ankles, moving your limbs. Taking a deep stretch when you're ready. And drawing knees into your chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Showing yourself some love, some compassion, and complete appreciation for where you are right now in your life. Rock right to your right hand side when you're ready. And join me again in a comfortable seated cross-legged position. We'll bring our hands into Anjali Mudra at our heart center when we're there. And I'll finish with the sacred sound Om. Middle mantra, the 3 shantis. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamidaya Purnamivavashishyate. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hare you. Raising our hands to our heads for kindness in our thoughts, to ourselves and each other, to our hearts for kindness in our actions, and to our lips for kindness in our words. From my heart to your heart always. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me this morning. I hope you all feel a little bit calmer in your mind, a little bit more open in your bodies. And I hope you are all well. That's it. Nothing else to say. I think we got through it without the internet crashing, which is good. Yes, it's coming through. Oh, it's Katrina. Oh, Josh and Ben are joining us this morning. I don't know who they are, Katrina, but hello, Josh and Ben. I hope you enjoyed the class this morning, as well as you, Katrina. Good to see you virtually. And yes, so yeah, I hope you all feel a little bit more relaxed and open. As always, if you liked the video, please like it. If you think there's other people that might enjoy this practice or some of the other videos that I've posted, please share. If you're not a subscriber, Josh and Ben maybe, please subscribe. And yeah, and if you are financially stable enough to donate, please make a small donation. The link to my PayPal is in any of the description in any of the other videos. Oh, wonderful. So good, Katrina. Oh, wonderful. Hi. I love your mom, by the way. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Sally. You have a good day too. And to all of you watching, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'm from Germany. Oh, wonderful. Hello. Hello from Germany. Wow, how did you find me? Hi, Germany. Hello. Guten Tag. Anyway, I shall love you and leave you. And I shall see some of you tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock for some Vinyasa flow. Or is it Guten Morgen? Guten Morgen in Germany. Guten Morgen. Dear, my German. Oh, fitness content. Oh, wonderful. That's good to know. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining me. I have lots more videos that you can check out if you enjoyed this video. And Guten Morgen, yay! I did study German in school, but that was a long time ago. But yeah, I will shut up now. Some people are probably still in their Shavasana and just thinking, "Oh, gee, shut up, I'm trying to enjoy the peace and quiet." So I will see some of you tomorrow, 7 o'clock for some Vinyasa flow. And thank you all for joining me. Love to you all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Stay well, stay safe, stay sane. Bye-bye.